like science.
I like science.
I like science.
It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn? We're taking turns now to introduce the
I don't
show?
know. Just fucking do it.
Fine. I'll fucking do it. God damn it. I have a breakup on the
Jeez.
podcast. This is Shield
Never.
Podulation that you're listening to. It's a random Star Trek podcast in which we randomly choose episodes and movies from the Star Trek franchise and discuss them. Sometimes at length, sometimes not at length. It depends
Mhm.
on the episode. If it's
Yeah,
only an A plot, it's probably going to be a short one, which means this one's probably going to be a short one. I mean, once you address, basically the plot, we're done. Anyhow, I am DJ Evil Dave.
I
Uh,
am Brandy.
Yes, Dr. Brandy Sexy Voice
Dr.
back in the
Dr.
day.
Brandy's sexy voice.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, that did
Sorry.
it. I get
Uh,
ASMR, so
I
if
should
she does
not.
sultry,
Yeah, I should not do that on this
also if
show.
she caresses my scalp, I know.
I love
Yeah,
caressing your scalp. It's one of my favorite
yeah, I
things to
get
do.
tingles. Yep. So
By the
also,
way,
hand
that's
movements is a ASMR thing.
and
So watching like stage magicians or vampires or something doing hand movements. Ooh, I just did it to myself. Watching the image of me in Zoom. It's
that's
like
funny.
doing that alluring thing that you
Yes.
do with the hand. It's
I
fascinating.
am now
Yep.
hypnotized.
Yeah, there's
Um,
kind of weird triggers for ASMR, but there you
yeah.
go.
Well, this nothing's weird. It's just what's applicable to you. It's not
Yeah.
weird.
Yep. It's kind of funny
It's
because whenever somebody on a podcast makes fun of it, it actually ends up triggering me because the response, because it's a reflex, it doesn't know the difference between
mhm,
somebody actually trying to stimulate you ASMR wise and somebody making fun of it.
yeah.
The effect is the same.
Yep. Yep. Also, I don't know if you remember this, Dave, you better, but this coming Monday, it will
Uh-huh.
be 30 years to the day that we met.
Yeah, because our first date was in July, because it was
Yeah, but
July
our we
4th,
met on
but we
April
met
6th,
on April 6th.
1996.
Yeah, it was like Mormon conference.
Yep. But we were at Janine's house
Yep,
and it was a spa party.
yep.
So, and when I say spa party, I don't mean that we were getting our nails done and shit like that. I mean, she had a spa. It's not a hot tub, it's a spa.
It's it's like a small pool that had a wave maker and also kind of jacuzzi-like effects, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't round, it was square and it was or
Rectangular.
rectangular. Sorry,
Yeah.
squares are a rectangle, rectangles aren't squares generally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could feasibly practice swimming in it because of the current maker,
Mm-hmm.
but also you could treat it as a hot tub. And it was just kind of in this glass area.
Yep.
And we'd hang out. And so you came in. I was Twitter pated immediately.
Really?
Yeah, as soon as I saw you, I went, oh my God, look at her. She's amazing.
Wow. I
Yeah.
don't usually get that reaction.
Yeah, it was immediate. I like, hello. And then we debated between the book of Jurassic Park and the movie. So I
Hmm.
knew that, there was a spark there that I could actually talk to you, which is not something I could do with most people of the opposite gender.
Yep. Yeah. It took you an agonizingly long while to actually ask me out, though.
Yeah, well, I've never really pursued anyone. I mean, I kind of tried to once because Brett sort of hooked me up, sort of, but that never manifested in anything because we set up a date and it just fizzled. That was the same day that I bought Sexplosion by My Life with a Thrill Kill Coat, which is kind of ironic.
The thing that you remember, I bet you can't remember her name, but you remember buying
Nope.
that record, that
I
album.
remember she was blonde, and it was weird because she was alone at night when we bumped into her and talked to her, and somehow Brett managed to get me her number, which is cool of him, but it's not something I would have pursued. And I'm
Mm.
glad it didn't go anywhere
Yeah, well, me
because,
too.
yeah, it's just that was a bad match for me, and you are a
Yeah.
good match, which is why I, in my own way, actively pursued you in a very inactive way.
No, I get it because, we're both introverts.
Oh, yeah, super
So,
introvert. So, I mean, you're my first love, really. So,
you were my first true love and my
right.
only true love.
Yep.
Um,
And yeah, it's nearly,
yeah.
well, it's 30 years since we met. Our 30th anniversary is coming up pretty soon because it didn't take us long to get married.
Yeah, the 30th anniversary will be next year.
Yep, because yeah, when you know, you know.
Yep. And boy, did my mom not like
Oh,
you.
oh, yeah, she did not like me. And
Uh,
yeah, uh, partly because I had left the church.
yeah, but that really wasn't it.
Yeah.
She didn't like that you were shorter than me. She didn't
Ah,
like,
fuck
there was
that.
all these things. She never even had a conversation with you, and she was telling me all the
Nope.
reasons why she didn't like you. And I'm just like, you don't even know him. You don't
Nope.
even know him.
Yep.
And that was like 3 weeks before our wedding. My mom
Remember
and I had a
that
big blow up.
I think it was the first time I was over at your house and we were all kind of hanging out. I don't know why we were in Centerville, but a bunch of us were.
Mm.
And we were watching those comedy series like Red Green
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Red Dwarf.
We went out. I think that was the night we went out to the pie in Salt Lake.
Oh, right. That makes sense. And they swung
Yeah,
by Centerville because we'd be dropping you off anyway before
yeah.
continuing on into Ogden. Yeah, and I kept predicting what episode was going to come up.
And it was crazy. You were right like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's going to be this episode of Red Green. It's going to be this episode of Red Dwarf. And yeah.
This
And
episode of Doctor Who.
yeah. Were we watching Doctor Who then?
Yeah.
Because, oh, wow. Because I was not really a Doctor Who person until you came around. And then I ended up liking Pertwee.
Pertwee.
He's my favorite doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite old school Doctor Who doctor is Peter Davison.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So because he's just my guy. But Pertwee is a very close second.
Yep.
It
I
was
like this
never
Venusian Aikido.
God. He and she dresses like a vampire. It's just
Yep.
amazing.
Yep. And the voice, the hair.
Yep. And
Yep.
then we've got Peter Davison's doctor who is basically acts like a complete idiot,
Mhm.
but is in obviously it's kind of a front so that people do not get that he actually is the person who in the room who knows the most
Yep. The
things
cricket
about
outfit
things.
with the piece of broccoli.
Yeah.
Or is it celery?
It is celery.
Ah, right.
And he wasn't always in a cricket outfit. He had a suit that he usually wore. But when
Yep.
he goes to play cricket, obviously, he plays in a cricket outfit. Anyway, so yeah, happy
Professor
anniversary of
Spacetime.
our meeting on Monday.
Yeah, so yeah, happy anniversary. We should celebrate later.
Yeah. Oh, we will.
No, yeah, we will.
Oh, the listeners are now going,
Yeah,
ew.
yeah, we will. Yeah, we
Yeah.
will. No, sorry, it's getting more and more sleazy.
That's sorry. Everybody is
Well,
just
this
like,
is a
I don't
seven of
need to
nine
know.
episode, so it kind of puts you in that mood anyway, because goddamn, she's hot. I mean, she's a great actor too, but they put her there for the male gaze, and she just happens to be a great performer too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with DePaul was like they put somebody in a cat suit to draw a male audience, and they end up being one of the best additions to a show.
Oh yeah, Jolene, she
Yep.
magnificent. Love her. Absolutely love her.
And same with
Okay.
Jerry Ryan, who's like
Yeah.
hubba hubba, and yet still
Oh,
amazing performer.
she's a very I love her in person. Like I've
Yep.
not met her in person, but back in the day when which wasn't too long ago when they were doing Trek Talks over
Uh-huh.
at the Trek Geek Network. No, it's not Trek Geek. I don't remember. Anyway, and she can be very giggly and it's
Oh, she's funny as
adorable.
hell because
She's
outside of Voyager, if you find her in other shows, I mean she'd be on like sitcoms and stuff because she's
Mhm.
goddamn funny.
Yeah, she's a fantastic actor and she has great timing,
Yep.
and that is not something you can say about all actors. Um, okay. First of all, because I'm doing this now at the beginning so that I don't forget, thank you to Dan Gunther for the use of his
Uh-huh.
spreadsheet. And we really appreciate that. Hi, Patrick. I'm glad you're still alive.
Yeah,
And because fascism is a
indeed.
thing, and he lives in Minnesota. And I'm just, I get messages from him. I know he's okay, but
Good.
there's no guarantee of anything ever. But yeah. So we're thinking of you, Patrick, always. And thanks for the pictures you sent of Benny and Nerys. They're so cute together. Those are his
Whenever
cats.
you say that, I think of the Benny Gesserit,
Benny.
Benny and Nerys. Truly is the Benny Nerys jazz hands.
No, it's the Quizach.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
having
Dune.
trouble
Yeah, we saw a
saying.
trailer for Dune 3.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to
Ponderous.
have three movies
Yeah.
to portray that book, because I have read the book and there's quite a bit of chaff in
Yeah.
there.
Lots of
Okay,
shots of desert.
anyone who loves Dune, I'm not disparaging it. It's just not. Um, I'll be honest, I prefer the 1984 Dune. I don't care what people think about that. It is a riot.
Yep. I mean, Patrick Stewart running around with a dog.
Yep, yep. Gurney Halleck. Um, and yeah, it's one of those things. It was an experience that I had with my dad, so
Yep.
it's something that's really close to my heart. But also, he had a Dune t-shirt. I don't know where he got a Dune t-shirt,
Probably a hobby store.
but we didn't have many of those back then.
Ah, right.
This was
I was thinking, where would
1984.
nerds go for a Dune shirt? And a
Yeah,
hobby
that's the
store came to
thing.
mind.
1984. There we didn't live around any hobby shops.
Oh, there was one in Roy. That's where I got my TSR games. Like they had
Yeah,
the Indiana Jones role-playing game and they had expansion packs.
yeah, but there weren't any in Centerville.
No.
There were no hobby
Ah,
shops
that
in
makes sense.
Centerville.
Yep,
There were
or
no
nearby
hobby shops
Bountiful.
in Bountiful.
This
There were
is
no
like
hobby shops
Utah-centric
in North Salt Lake.
episode. Orem, Provo, West Salt Lake,
Oh God, we're so rambly
Sunset,
today.
Roy. Oh, I did already mention Roy
West
because that's where the
Haven,
hobby. West Haven,
West
Herkin,
Haven, um,
Payson,
Taylor, um, uh, phew,
Brigham.
West Point, Syracuse. Oh God, stop. Stop.
Mm,
Okay. Anyway, back to what we were doing. So thanks everyone and for bearing with us. And now we'll actually do the thing that we came here to
let's do
do.
that thing.
All right. So this week we are talking Voyager Season 7, Episode 2, Imperfection.
Imperfection, which sounds like a board game.
It does sound like a.
It's like one of those where you click a timer and you have to put pieces in before the board explodes or whatever.
Well, and speaking of board games, we do get to see Seven playing Catascot with
Yep.
Neelix.
Space
And
checkers.
yeah, space checkers apparently, and Connect Four.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit. It's just pretty sneaky, sis. Pretty sneaky, Seven.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I didn't have time to mute that cough.
I
Sorry.
won diagonally.
You won in Diagon Alley? What?
Yes. Oh, fuck Rowling.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so this episode starts out with the kids that were rescued from the Borg being going back to their home planets.
And we get
Borg planet.
hugs.
There are hugs. There are a lot of
And
hugs.
never have I wanted to be a young male actor in my life. It's like you get to hug Seven,
Yeah,
and
baby.
that's pretty much your scene. It's like, okay, that's a wrap for the
Mm,
kids.
yep.
Hug 7 of 9 and step on a transporter. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And those kids were very good. Those
Yep.
They were very good at portraying former Borg.
Yeah, which it's like, how do you tell if somebody playing a Borg is a good actor or not? Because each Heb, I'd say no. Generally, I mean, it gets better as the episode progresses, but early on, I'm
Mm.
like, I don't like this guy. But yeah, kids just do a flat affect, sort of thing.
Well,
It's
they
like
also
I
have to
prefer the
say
human departure,
they
but
also have to say big woods.
big woods,
Big
like
words.
indubitably.
So yeah, it's they definitely seem older than their age,
Yep, old
but
souls.
I thought that they were good. And of course Icheb's not leaving,
Yep,
so
Icheb.
he doesn't want
Some
to.
it's he's got an Ewok name.
Yeah. He
Icheb, Awagaga. That
you're
might be
gonna
the title. It's Ewok name. Either that or cities in Utah.
oh yeah. Anyway. So Seven actually is crying. She's
Yep.
got a tear going out of her left eye. And Egypt's like, what's going on with this? And they're talking about how crying is a normal
Yep.
response. And she's saying that's not what's going on. I shouldn't be doing this. And her emotional subroutines were malfunctioning or something. And now she's also getting headaches.
Yep.
So and that's the thing. That's the thing about Seven is that she lets things go
She
until they're really,
doesn't like to
really
appear
serious. Yeah,
vulnerable
she
or
does not
weak.
want to appear vulnerable like fucking ever,
It's
which is
similar
weird.
to Sam in Starfleet Academy, where
Yeah,
she's hiding
very.
the seriousness of her glitch.
Yeah, and both of these situations involve the same doctor.
Yeah, interesting that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said
So,
Left Eye, it just reminded me of TLC. Is that the band that
oh,
Left Eye was in?
yeah.
Chasing Waterfalls, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left Eye Lopez.
Yeah.
Gone too soon.
Yeah. Moment of silence.
Yep. And Icheb wants to apply to Starfleet Academy. That's where he
Yeah, he does.
feels he's going to fit in. And she's like, I'll help you with stuff. I maybe she's kind
It's
of
like Depeche Mode.
ambivalent.
He wants something to do.
Is there something to do? Is there something to
There's something to
do?
do. Is there something to do? Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, guys. We are really off our
I'm a
rockers
child of the
today.
80s. Leave me alone. Yeah.
Same. But I didn't get into that type of music until I was probably 16.
Mm.
And that's because we were not allowed to listen to things.
Yep.
And then we got to that point where his mom's like, you can't listen to that. And we're like, yeah, well, we're gonna.
So, and
And can't make me stop.
yeah.
So
Don't
anyway,
stop till you get enough.
so she agrees that she will, if he studies and blah blah blah, she will put him in for a Starfleet Academy application. And yeah. So the really big problem presents itself when she goes to regenerate and she can't.
She's incompatible. She has the wrong USB port.
And she does have the wrong USB port now because her USB port has changed from a USB-A to a USB-C
Hmm.
and it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, it's incompatible. She needs to get an adapter or a new cord.
Yeah. And so basically what's happening is her cortical node is malfunctioning and so her body is starting to reject all of her implants. And I think they do a really great makeup job on
Oh,
Jerry
hell yeah.
Ryan showing these little patches that have burst through her skin. And I was really impressed with that.
Just saying Seven's body has an effect on me.
I wonder why.
It's like, uh, you know, her body is like, uh-huh,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like the cortical implant thing. It's a cool design, and I like that hers is blinking because it's malfunctioning.
Yeah,
And
it's
if you get
like
a working one, it's a solid green.
yeah, it's like how do I put this? It's like when you've got battery operated string lights that
Hmm.
are winding down and they start like they don't shine as bright and they start flickering a little bit here and there.
Yep.
That's what it reminded me of. But yeah,
Um,
it's yeah.
Also, I like how they have to use tweezers because you can't touch it with your fingers. It's like
Hmm.
the camera lens to your phone. They
Yep.
don't want your oils on it because,
Hmm.
it has an effect. So I like that touch as well. That they had to
Yep.
be very careful not to actually get any
Human
particles
goo.
or, yeah, human goo or whatever you. There's a term for it that's escaping my mind, but particulates or whatever
Yeah.
onto the actual device.
Yeah. So, yeah, the deterioration is accelerating and they cannot replicate a new one. It's too
Nope.
complex. And so Janeway's like, hey, there was this Borg debris field. Um,
Yep.
boy, that almost went wrong. I almost said Berg de Boer field.
Yeah.
And then I said it anyway. This Borg debris field, and so they're going to
Borg
go get
debris.
another node. And they show up in the field. They find one that hasn't been damaged. Some other people from Echeb's race that I cannot remember the name of show up. This is our debris field. And I'm like, it's really not, though. I
Well,
mean,
the salvage claim,
is
I
it a salvage
guess.
claim, though? I don't know.
I don't know the Delta Quadrant rules or
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the thing. It's just because we have a salvage claim thing in this day and age doesn't mean that it's the same as, in
yeah.
Star Trek. But anyway,
Uh,
so yeah.
yeah, this particular race, they've got this ridge on their nose and it just reminds me of Deep Blue Sea and the song to it, LL
Mm-hmm.
Cool J with that hat is like a shark fin. It's like their forehead is like a shark fin.
Yep.
They just got this kind of frontal fin on their nose.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't that also have, or am I confusing them? There were shark movies out at the same time. One had Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Samuel Jackson is the Deep Blue Sea one.
Okay,
It's the
that's
one
what I thought.
where they're working on shark brains to
Mm-hmm.
cure Alzheimer's.
And LL
And so
Cool
the
J
sharks
is the
get super
cook.
fart smart and
Super fart smart.
Thomas Jane's in there
Yep. Thomas
as the
Jane.
big dumb hero.
Big dumb hero.
Yeah.
Not big damn hero, but big dumb hero.
Big dumb hero. Yeah. Because it's a big dumb
Yep.
movie.
It is a big dumb movie. I did enjoy it even though the water stuff really affects
Hmm.
me.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I cannot watch The Abyss ever again. Never, ever again.
The
Never,
abysmal.
ever. I can't do it.
There's a scene in the abyss when the big umbilical falls
Mm-hmm.
and they're afraid it's going to fall on top of them and then it doesn't. And then it kind of falls off to the side and almost drags the facility down into a big old trench.
Mm-hmm.
That particular scene of the sound of the pipe falling and then her laugh after her laugh of relief, that's sampled in Frontline Assembly's Victim of a Criminal, and it's used to create basically the bass line and beat.
Crazy.
It plays out throughout the whole song. And it's a really unusual Frontline Assembly song because they get a guest vocalist and he raps through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the album Millennial. Yeah. It's got some really good samplings on that. They sample a lot of guitar, like from uh, Pantera and stuff on there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird album. Sorry.
Oh, I should have said before that they're taking the Delta Flyer to this Borg debris field, and Janeway was going to go alone, but Tuvok's like, hell no. And
Tom.
Paris is like, this is my baby. I'm going to be the pilot.
Yeah, so like half the command crew goes off on this
Yep.
crazy mission
We
onto a
get a
Borg
yes,
cube.
ma'am, as well.
Yeah, you're pointing that out that Tom Paris, whenever he says yes, ma'am, sounds sarcastic. And it's like, well,
Yep.
he
Yep.
struggles with authority and maybe it just becomes like ingrained that that's always how he's going to say it. Yes,
I
ma'am.
I don't think it's sarcastic. I think it's a little too sexy, is what I
Oh,
think.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Like,
daddy.
don't say it like that.
Yes, mommy.
Yeah, I loved Kate Mulgrew's acting when she's getting the cortical node out of the Borg. It's like she is completely disgusted by having
Yeah,
to do
when she peels
this.
off that circle of skin and
Mhm.
tosses it aside and just kind of has this disgust look on her face.
Yeah. She may be a scientist, but that doesn't mean she likes cutting
Yeah.
into
Well,
beings.
isn't she more into physics than life sciences?
Hmm.
Because, yeah, physicists and biologists, there's kind of a demarcation between the two because one's very precise and the other's very messy. Because
Yeah.
biology is like, well, this happened because reasons, I guess. And then, physics is like, well, the math determines that this is the case and has to be the case. And if it's not the case, then our math is wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Janeway is that she is extremely intelligent, but also empathetic. And that makes a good leader
Right.
because you have to
Intelligence and
have a
empathy.
balance.
Yeah, yeah, the balance of smarts, well, feeling and thinking.
Hmm. You need to have both.
Yeah.
You can't be a full, true leader without having both of
Yep.
those things.
Yep.
So, and that other ship that with the people that said, no, this is our debris field. You said it had lady humps.
Yeah, it has little lady humps. They're not in the right place, but they're kind of on the wings. There's these little curves that are like breasts or buns.
It just made me laugh. Lady humps.
Yeah, they just had some lady humps on the wings. It's like maybe those are fuselages or something. Who knows? It was
Yeah.
a weird design.
So, back on the ship, Neelix has come to
Oh,
sick bay
uh-huh.
with
Oh,
with
before
presents.
that fight scene,
Oh, right.
this particular race, they're pretty strong because they throw off, well, she's a tiny thing anyway, but they throw off Janeway like she's nothing. And then there's a firefight, and for some reason, Tuvok hesitates.
Mm,
He had some guy dead to rights and didn't fire, and instead he got fired upon.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like you had
That was
plenty of
dumb.
times to shoot this guy, dude.
That doesn't gel for me.
Yeah,
It's like that's not what would have happened. That's Tuvok.
yeah,
And it's not like he was afraid of hitting somebody else. It's
no.
just was that
I
was
mean, the guy
weird.
was standing, he's at point blank range, you've got a rifle trained on him, and you pause and let yourself get shot?
Yeah,
What are you
that's
doing, dude?
I know. That's a script failing right there.
Well, we've always said that Tuvok as a security officer leaves much to be desired. I like him for other reasons, but security? Nah, put him in science or something. Get somebody
Yeah.
else's security. He is not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Worf's bad
Um
enough, but Tuvok, oof.
oh, poor Worf, poor
Yeah.
Tuvok.
I mean, security officers
Oh,
get a bad rap, that's for sure.
yeah, they do. But anyway, yeah, Neelix stops by with flowers and
Mhm.
catascot and so that's they agree he agrees to some she agrees to some downtime.
I like how they reverse psychology her into doing it.
Yeah, basically the doctor starts saying, "Oh, yeah, don't worry about this."
Yeah, yeah,
She'll
she's too weak in this condition. You'd win over her easily. And she's like,
hmm.
"Oh yeah, you will." Uh-huh.
Yeah. So she may have been Borg, but she still has her pride. So
Yeah.
she's not letting anybody talk her down.
And they played like 18 or 19 games in a row.
Something like that. Because uh the doctor went off to do simulations to see if this was going to work.
Yep, that was a nice
And
fake out.
yeah. And it didn't work. Didn't work.
Yeah, we had a
They
dead
really
seven.
tried everything, and it ended up with her death eventually or immediately, depending on the situation. And yeah, when she finds out that it's not going to work, and we find out she's deactivated the doctor so she can run, she runs off and
Huh.
goes back
She
to her
ran.
duties.
She ran so far away. She
Ran,
couldn't get
ran
away.
so far away. Um,
I've
yeah,
got like a jukebox in my head today.
apparently.
I've been thinking about music a lot lately.
Yeah, and she took off her comm badge so that
Yeah, she
she'll be
did.
harder to find. But
The
uh,
old com badge trick.
well, see, and the thing that that makes me think why would that work? Because the ship has internal sensors.
Uh-huh.
You can find people with the internal sensors.
Well, it's her smart ID chip that the ship senses. But
Not
the
necessarily.
ship also has sensors for life detection and probably for Borg uh,
Yeah.
modifications.
Yeah, so taking off her comm badge actually doesn't really
Yeah, it shouldn't
stop
do
anyone
anything.
from finding her.
And it's like, where's seven
So,
and nine? She's right here.
Yeah.
She's in the food court next to the pretzel maker.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So she's back working and Balana comes by. And it's interesting because Balana and Seven actually have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And this, season 7 Balana is so much more leveled up than season 1 Balana, obviously. And she's just, she's like, "Are you gonna tell people where I am?" She's like, "No."
No,
What's
I
not?
hide from the doctor all the time. What are you talking about?
Yes, I'm not gonna do that. And then she starts asking Balana if she believes she'll go to Sto-vo-kor when she dies, which is
Yep, interesting.
interesting
Yeah.
because there's no afterlife myths in the Borg, you
No.
know.
Yeah. I
Is
mean,
so
it's just the collective. That's all there is.
yeah.
The collective continues even after
Mhm.
Bork has died.
Yep. And I think uh her reason for asking this is that she wants to believe that when she's gone, she still mattered,
Yep.
that there's going to be something beyond this mortal life. And Valana says you don't need the collective to validate your existence.
Yeah, because the crew will remember her.
Mm-hmm.
That her memories, her experiences, as part of the collective would be, just included and carry on through the collective,
Mm-hmm.
despite her not being an individual. So that's the weird thing about this,
Mm-hmm.
is she'd just be a drone. She's just the collective, so that experience is shared no matter what. It's not hers alone, which is the weird kind of dichotomy here, is the things that she's achieved by herself are not going to be part of the collective because that's just not how that works. You don't have individual achievement as part of the collective.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that she still will be remembered for her achievements because
Mhm.
science, they have ways to keep logs. So it's
Well,
not like
it's the
she'll,
memories of the crewmates is one
yeah.
thing, is how they remember her and how she contributed to the crew, the things she did for the crew to help them survive. That's written in time.
Hmm.
Unless you do a time travel thing and erase that. Well, even then, it still happened. Those events still happened, even if you go back and say they didn't,
Yeah.
because the time, time is a flat circle kind of thing.
Hmm.
So,
I thought it was
can,
a big ball of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
well, it depends if you're into True Detective or Doctor Who.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so, the things she has done are pretty much written in stone. And so she did things. And there's in being and nothingness a thing about that a subject remains a subject until death, in which they become an object. And you can objectify somebody upon their death, and it defines who they were as a person. That's why the death is so important. And that's why in Sailor Moon, the Negaverse is really mad at Serena for ending death
Mm,
for New Tokyo and that whole future thing. They want to stop her because death gives life meaning. It defines you as a person. And when you die, that's it. That's who you were leading up to that moment. Because when you're alive, it can change at any time. You can have a redemptive arc or something. Some people's redemptive arc might be harder than others, but
mm,
it's happened. I mean, if you watch the movie American History X, is a lot about that. This
mm.
Nazi kid that goes to prison, realizes what a dumbass he was and changes his ways and then leaves prison. And yeah, a, a better person for it, as if he died in prison as that fuck up Nazi, that's who he'd be for the rest of his life.
Yep. Also, pushing up nerd glasses. It's Neo Tokyo.
Didn't I say Neo Tokyo?
You
Or
said
did I say Neo Kyoto?
No, you said New Tokyo.
Oh, no. Oh, well, Neo, new. Yeah.
Yeah, but get it right.
Okay. Neo
Talking
Tokyo.
about Sailor Moon history here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Icheb, there really isn't a B plot here. Icheb has decided that he's going to figure out a way to save Seven. And what he's figured out is that he is younger and isn't as attached to his Borg parts because when he was detached from the Borg, he
He
has a
hadn't, yeah.
stronger regeneration of his, tissue parts instead of
He
just
hadn't
the machine parts.
fully maturated
Yeah,
when he was pulled from the collective. So
yeah.
he
So
still has a lot of human capabilities, in which
yes,
case that, yeah, his systems will do without having this implant.
yep. So, and that's the thing. Some of his implants just don't, he doesn't even need anymore because his normal physical functions have taken over. And this is when he decides that he's going to give his cortical node to Seven, that he will adapt just fine. He's young, he's strong, and she needs this. And he absolutely is going to do it, whether she lets him or not. And she refuses, but
Yeah, well, his
he's not.
simulations has it at like an 86.9% chance of success.
And that's a really big, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
anything over 50%, it's kind of like
Mhm.
you got to go for that.
Right.
So, but Seven is just will not do it. She just will not do it. And she has this conversation with Janeway. We get a name drop of her hometown, Bloomington, Indiana.
Which made you think of,
Straight No Chaser.
yep, her favorite a
Because
cappella group.
in my favorite a cappella group, and if you've never heard them, then what is wrong with you?
Yeah, they're
But
well known for a rendition of 12 Days of Christmas.
they're well known for a lot of things, but
Yeah.
they they originated at Indiana University, and they called themselves Straight No Chaser then. But when the guys all graduated and started actually performing to the public outside of the school, then a decision was made that the a cappella group would take a different name, the one at the university, which became Another Round. And then Straight No Chaser went on to go do, the not
Touring.
not the
Yeah.
adult stuff, the touring stuff.
Yep.
And to this day, they still will only accept new members if they come from Another Round. You have
hmm
to have been in Another Round and
Yeah,
have
that's the talent
graduated
pool. Yeah.
so that in order to be chosen, because obviously the same 9 to 10 guys are not doing this for 25, 30 years.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
actually, some of them are. Jerome, Steve,
yeah, true.
Walt,
They'll
they're all
probably be they're
originators.
like the was it the Keenan from Saturday Night Live? They'll be there
hmm
forever.
hmm Well, eventually they won't, but
Yeah.
at some point they will retire. But so far, they have still they're still going. They're still going, and they have literally been doing this since 2000, or excuse me, 1996. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So 30 years?
30 years, 30
Wow.
years, 30 years, and Walt and Steve and
Yeah, they're still
Jerome are
there.
still doing it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they love what they do. And besides, Walt's musical parodies are just the best.
hmm
They really
Yeah,
are the
they
best.
do movie themes
Yeah. Oh,
and
well,
sing
just
the
everything.
lyrics.
Like
Yeah.
anything, like the 12 Days of Christmas, that's Walt.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think other people contributed as well, but the whole, basically anything that's a parody that it has the music of something, like the Christmas can.
Right.
That's Walt. And that's what he does. He's really good at that. Anyway, we have gotten totally off topic.
Oh, that's
So,
this is just the nature of this episode. We're
yeah,
gonna do tangents.
we mentioned Bloomington, Indiana, and that started it off. And
Mhm. And
now we're
each
back.
reminded me of Ewoks.
Ewoks.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Icheb.
Egypt.
Wawa.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, Icheb decides to have his cortical removed himself. He does it himself.
Uh,
And though he's
yeah.
a little unsteady, he's struggling a little bit. His physical, his organic, organic
Systems?
stuff is systems. Thank you. His
Yep.
organic systems are already starting to compensate and
Yep.
make up the difference. And so they have another argument, and he finally convinces her that, she has to do this.
Yep,
And
because she'd sacrifice herself for anybody on the crew,
mhm, yep,
but she won't allow anybody to sacrifice for her. And that she's the issue. She's the problem, that she will not accept help,
yep,
and she'll die because of it. And this
yep,
shows that Ichib has matured. Ichib has come up with the best solution, forced their hand, has even said, well, if Seven of Nine can refuse care, I can too. So
mhm,
you're not going to fix me until you get this implant out of my skull and give it to her.
yep,
And of course, because otherwise it's just going to fail if they don't do something, and then nobody gets it. So what's the point
mhm,
of that?
yep. And it's interesting because she was part of the Borg collective, right?
Right.
And that's the thing, is that they all work together. And so her being separated from the Borg, Voyager is her new collective. But she somehow thinks that because she's now an individual, that means that no one should sacrifice for her. I'm like, honey, it's the same thing.
Right.
It's still a collective. Anyone would do the same thing. Anyone would help her. Anyone on that ship would help her if they could.
Well, it's like a socialist paradise. Of course, it's a collective.
Yeah. And so she just doesn't quite get that until the end. But she finally does. They do the operation. Lo and behold, everything's working fine. Each hip
Yep.
is fine.
She sleeps for like
This
6 days.
6 days and everything's back to normal. And we get and the interesting thing is it's been a long, long, long time since I've seen this episode. And the minute I realized which episode it is, I went, aha! This is the episode that explains why Icheb in season 1 of Star Trek Picard does not have a cortical node.
Yep.
And the reason why we know that is because some assholes are carving him up for his Borg parts. And
Hmm.
the woman's just like, hey, buddy, where's your cortical node? And he doesn't have one.
Yep.
He doesn't have one because he gave it to Seven. So yeah, everybody's okay. Everything's fine. Voyager still has a full complement of shuttles. So happy ending. Cue credits.
Yep. Um, how did you like Seven of Nine's fall in the cafeteria?
Oh wow. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was actually really good.
Yeah, it was convincing. And she just
Hmm.
has a fainting spell and then starts convulsing, which she did a good job too, because she had to do that several times.
Yeah.
Is simulate going into shock.
Yeah. She was just Jerry Ryan's awesome.
Yep.
Period.
And her
No notes.
protein shake that she had.
That sounds disgusting and
Uh-huh.
unappetizing. It's like at least put something fun in there. Throw in some strawberries.
Proteins and enzymes.
Delicious,
Hmm.
delicious proteins and enzymes. Ugh. All right. Do you have anything more to say about this episode, my darling?
Well, I think that covers it. I just wanted to mention her fall because it was a pretty good fall.
Hmm.
A lot of her, I mean, her crying at the end, because that was a nice little bookend to it, is like
Yes.
the first time she had tears is because of the imperfection in her implant, and that it created this tear response. And then she was genuinely moved towards the end with Icheb sacrificing himself for her and managing to pull through so he'd continue to live. And of course, she agreed to the Starfleet Academy path to help
Hmm.
him do that, and that he would be very busy because he has his normal duties plus that.
Expect a grueling schedule.
Yep. And then, she's genuinely crying, and then the doctor runs a scan on her.
Mm.
So every once in a while she'd have to sit up and she's like panting. You're like, goddamn lady. Just watching her breathe is fascinating. And those giant eyes that could fall out
Giant
of her head
eyes.
if you surprised her.
Giant eyes.
Yeah.
She's just, ugh.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She really is. She really is.
And she can act like circles around people. I mean,
Hmm.
even as a Borg, when, she has to do kind of a flatter affect, she's still coming through.
Yeah.
And that takes work.
Well, and I love how in Picard she gets to just be, a person. She
Yeah,
doesn't
because
have
the
this.
Borg isn't as doesn't have that great of an influence because, it's
Yeah.
It's been a while. She's individuated more.
Yep.
On that talk with Janeway about individuality and collective and living
Hmm.
up to expectations, that somehow if she dies soon, she will have failed Janeway because she hasn't fully become an individual. And that was like Janeway's whole thing is to help her through the process of leaving the collective and coming into her own. And it's like you've already exceeded
Hmm.
all my expectations. You are an individual. You've done amazing things for this crew. I'm very proud of you. That was very touching, that scene
Yeah.
between Janeway and Seven, as they often are when you get those two alone, you know.
Yeah.
It's usually the centerpiece to an episode, and they thought between the two of them that was a really touching moment, and between B'Elanna and Seven that was a really touching moment too. Just these scenes with the ladies, just
Yeah.
having a heart to heart.
And they actually passed the Bechdel test both times.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about any guys unless
Nope.
Icheb was involved, and that wasn't in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So well done. Well
Yep.
done. All right then. That means dun dun
Oh,
dun dun dun
yes, I
dun dun
have
dun
to
dun
bring up
dun 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 dun
the
dun 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 dun
numerator.
dun dun. Yeah, the
So that's
numerator
not actually what you call it, the randomizer.
randomizer. Give me a second here because
I
I'm
want to
just
say
gonna
962, but it might be 964.
964.
964.
964.
964. All
Let
right.
me actually get to the spreadsheet.
Warming up my fingers to hit the enter button.
Warming up your fingers to hit the enter button.
Is this the most exciting part of the show?
It is the most exciting part of the show. Let's be
Need a
honest.
drum roll or some kind of music sting?
Nah. Well, if you find one, stick it in.
Eh. Now,
But not
the whole
really.
point of the show is minimum edit. We just
Hmm.
talk bullshit and I remove silence and
Yep.
then just upload it. So there's no editing. We got our vocal ticks. We got us pausing to think of words. We got
Yep.
us missaying things like New Tokyo.
All right, roll the dice.
Rolling the dice. 624.
624 sounds like
Sounds like
might
one we've
be
already done.
624. Can't scroll too fast because it'll go by too
Yeah,
fast.
and take your time.
All right, we are back
Back
to
in
Voyager
time.
season 7.
Oh my God. Watch it be episode 3.
Nope. It is Voyager season 7, episode 21,
Oh,
Friendship 1.
Friendship 1 sounds like the name of a ship or a
Mm.
probe.
I vaguely remember this, but I don't,
Ooh,
but at the same time I don't.
sounds like something Earth launched that went deep into the Delta Quadrant. And, because that very much sounds like a NASA project, Friendship 1.
Give me a second. The cat's trying to get out the door. Go
Okay.
on then. Go on. He was like he was like nudging it and trying to I'm like, use your paw, dude. Do you not understand? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I think I was done. It just sounds like a NASA program,
Yep.
Friendship
I
1,
agree. I agree completely.
Deep Space Probe or something.
Yes. Deep space. So there
I'll
you have it,
give you a Deep
folks.
Space Probe.
All right. So there's your homework for next week is
Yep.
Voyager season 7, episode 21, Friendship 1. And Dave, is there anything you want to tell people?
Other than wanting to do Deep Space Probe as next week's episode title, depends on what's actually in the episode because I'm just surmising that that's what it's going to be. Check out a band called Star Industry. They're a gothic rock band that kind of has a 90s goth vibe, if not after. And they're Belgian, which is interesting because I would think of electronic body music more when I think of Belgium. So just, standard gothic rock doesn't quite vibe as much, but yeah, they're really good. They have a song called Kids, which is amazing. So if you want to start there. But yeah, I just picked up an album for Music Purchase Day, which is generally Bandcamp Friday when there is Bandcamp Friday. And yeah, I added that to my collection. So I'm gonna have a good time with that. And
Fantastic.
I'm writing still, writing like a madman,
Mm-hmm.
just blazing through, just tearing through this first draft. So
Can
yeah,
confirm.
yep, yeah, it's just racing. It's like usually most days I'm doing a chapter plus sometimes.
Mm. As for me, go see Project Hail Mary.
Hell yeah.
Go see that movie. Yes, it's long. It's 2 hours and 37 minutes runtime. It will not feel like two
Nope.
hours and 37 minutes.
Yeah, it'll
Trust
keep you
me.
interested.
If you like science fiction, go see this movie. Even if you don't like science fiction, go see this movie. The original story was written by the same guy who wrote The Martian. And if you liked The Martian, you'll like this even more. Go see it. All right, then.
Hey.
Well, thanks for joining us. And sorry for the innuendo. Not really. Not sorry.
The several innuendos? I think there's
All
a
the
couple of them in
innuendos.
there.
All the innuendo. Just
Hey, so
innuendo.
we've been
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
together for 30 years. They're still an attraction. What are you going to say?
Yeah, just deal with
That
it.
and it's a 7 of 9 episode, which does things to me. So,
It does, I was expecting this. Dave
yep.
turns into a hard dog around 7 of 9,
Yep.
which was the whole purpose
Woof.
of putting her in the show. But
Yeah, I'm a
they actually
guy.
gave her good things to do.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
so
there's just guy things sometimes I do.
I know, and there's just girl things sometimes I do.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jack Reacher,
Mm,
Mountain of a Man.
I want to
Climb
climb
that.
him.
Yep. See if you can reach Everest,
He's married with kids. I mean,
and
I
then
would
wonder
never
if he's
actually.
proportional.
Uh,
It's not like Mr. Fantastic or Odo, though.
no.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we'll not talk about that.
Nope.
All right then. Yeah, take care, everybody. Fight fascism, fuck ICE, live long and prosper. And if you celebrate Easter, happy Easter.
Yep.
If you don't, happy spring.
Beltane, isn't it?
Beltane. Yeah, there you go. Beltane. Happy
Yeah.
Beltane.
For you pagans.
And take care. We'll talk to you, or at you rather, next week.
Uh-huh.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Screw up.
Still up.